Alright, guys and gals, what we have here is a mock-up of Flowers Return. I have the Brute trash can that we're using in substitute for a sump. I have my trusty DIY overflow that I made out of PVC. And if you look over here, this is going to be the return. As you can see, it's got two branches that come off of it, and the nozzles, you can see them there pointing down into the tank. That's to allow the clean filtered water to be pushed into the tank itself. And if you look up top here, get a good picture of it, you can see the two side flow nozzles here. And they're pushing out water here as well. I know you can't see it very well with this camera, but water's coming out there at the surface, and that's helping to provide for some surface agitation. Now keep in mind, right now I'm just using a cheap, kind of a weak power head that I use for my water changes. It's only 250 gallons an hour, so Flowers return pump is going to be approximately 3 times stronger than this is, so the flow that's coming out of here will be a lot greater and be a lot faster as well. Okay. See over here, we've got the Aqualifter pump, and what that's doing, I've got it connected to some tubing here, some airline tubing. And just like on the CPR overflow, it will connect to the top of her overflow, and that will help pull out any trapped air, any air bubbles that happen to get in the overflow over time. So that's why we want to always leave that running, because it's just safer. You don't want any air building up in there, because over time what that'll do is that will cause the overflow to start to drain slowly. And the more air that builds up, the slower it will get, and eventually, if it's not taken care of, that air isn't removed from out of the overflow, then it could cause the water to overflow the display tank, which wouldn't be good. Alright, see that going there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to simulate a power outage. I'm going to pull the plug on the pump. And what should happen, let me come back around here, what should happen here is that air is immediately going to get sucked into these two nozzles right here, right into those two holes, and that should break the siphon, which is going to basically stop the water from draining back into the sump, continuously draining, which could overflow the sump if you get too much of that going on. So let me go ahead and pull the plug on the pump here. I don't know if you can hear that, the water draining from the overflow into our trash can sump here. Go ahead and pull the plug, and I don't know if you can see it. I'll zoom in on this line, on the return line, and we'll see how fast the water stops draining after we pull the plug on the pump. See the air coming there? There. Within about 2 seconds, there's no more water draining from the return. We have a little bit of water still trickling in from the overflow, but that will stop in a second once the water level drops even with these two pipes, which in Flowers' case will be the top of her overflow inside the tank. And there, that's it. There's no more water draining. Therefore, we don't really have to worry about a flood. It was only a very minimal amount of backflow. Again, the two side flow nozzles work perfectly. Within, like 2 seconds, there was no more water draining from the returns, and you can see the ends of the nozzles are still well below with the water line there, and we don't have any water draining down into the sump, so no floods. It's a good thing. Alright, let me plug it back in real quick. Okay, the aqua lifter pump kicked back in, pulling air out of the overflow. Water being pushed back into the tank. And I don't know if you can hear it, but it's draining out of the overflow again. And that's pretty much it. The returns work pretty good, and I'm glad to see that, because that means that the ones that I designed for my tank, or put together for my tank, should work just as well. So that's a bonus. Of course, Flower, she can kind of turn these nozzles and stuff and direct the flow wherever she wants, but the important thing here to remember is to keep these two holes right near the top of the water line there. That way, once the pump goes off or the power goes out, you know, we're not in danger of overflowing the sump or anything like that. The backflow should stop virtually almost immediately within a second or two there. And that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed.